I don't have it handy. I should know
Okay.
it, but I don't.
Okay, welcome to our first Monday Zoom of April. And how was your weekend? I did a couple walks, but I'm so tired. But okay, Rhonda, if you would lead us with the TOPS pledge.
I am an intelligent person. I will control my emotions and not let my emotions control me. Every time I'm tempted to use food to satisfy my frustrated desires, build up my injured ego, or dull my senses, I will remember I will take off pounds sensibly.
And COPS pledge, do you have it, Stella, or no?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll try. I am an intelligent person. I will control my emotions, let my emotions control me. Every time I am tempted to use food to satisfy my frustrated desires, build up my injured ego, or dull my senses, I will remember I am to be an example as I keep off pounds sensibly. Yes, I did it. Normally, I'm okay doing it with people saying it with me, but when I say it by myself, it's like, okay, brain freeze. So it's like, ah. So okay. I'm going to try this. I have the Energy Bus action plan. I've done have I done it recently? I don't remember. I don't remember.
I haven't heard you do it, but I've also missed several of your Zooms. So
Okay.
I think if it's the one I'm thinking about, it's been a while, I think.
Okay, well, hey, then we need it. New month, new action plan. Okay, I'm going to share. See if I can do this. Energy Bus action plan. There it is. And I've got both computers out and from the beginning. There we go. There we go. And I'm reading the notes from my tablet and doing this here. Okay, Energy Bus action plan. Many of you have heard the one of the retreat directors is narrating this. Many of you have heard the bus presentation I do at retreat for weight loss. The book, The Energy Bus, written by John Gordon, can be applied to every area of your life. Today, we're going to look at developing a vision for the direction you want your bus to go. Then you'll be able to become the bus driver of your own bus when you have a plan. Regional director saw this presentation in March. I believe it's 2009, so it's been a while. Okay. Okay, where are your team members? Let's take a look at the passengers that are on the bus we've developed earlier. Okay, drivers, how many of your passengers from all the field staff areas? Doesn't apply, not field staff. Today our bus is the three of us. Granted, this scenario was fun, but the ultimate goal is each bus to have passengers at each level of TOPS, coordinators, area captains, blah, blah, blah. But we are cops and TOPS. So we are TOPS and cops. And there we go. Create your vision. Create your vision. What is TOPS mission vision statement? To support your members as they take and keep off pounds sensibly. If you're truly supporting the members at every level, you don't have the greatest. If you are truly supporting the members at every level, won't you have the greatest chapter that is possible? I know, Rhonda, I know Stella just went back. Rhonda, are you back yet?
Oh yeah, we've been back for a very long time. I mean, we started back at meetings in June. We shut down very briefly for a couple of weeks and did weigh-in onlys, but we've been, you know, at it for quite some time.
That's good. Yeah, we started back up. I started my chapter in July 18th. So it's fun, but I'm finding a lot of chapters have been closed since last March, 2020.
Oh no, we've been at it.
Most of my chapters. You're lucky.
We've been at it.
Yeah, you're lucky. Okay. If you had great chapters, what will happen to membership? It should increase. Why? Why do members want to stay? Why do new members want to stay? I've got calls up all the time or emails saying they're looking for a chapter, but what can we do to make the new members or the visitors want to join or to stay?
We can be friendly sometimes, you know, and make it fun.
Yes.
Or interesting anyway, you know, sometimes it can get a little boring, but if you make it,
Yeah.
I will say this, at my chapter, we've had new members join and then subsequently leave.
Mm-hmm.
And it was never about the fact that we weren't friendly enough. I mean, they appreciated the friendliness and the
Mhm.
greetings, and they bonded in a way. But the thing that had a couple leave was either one or two difficult members,
Mm.
or this thought process of that it seemed more like a social club.
Yeah.
So friendly, but not directed towards actually taking off pounds sensibly.
Right. Yes, I've been to several chapters. Actually, a lot of my chapters, I'm in my area. They are more of a social club, and that's basically scaring away. People aren't going to pay $32 plus tax to join a social club. They'll just get together with their friends.
Right.
They want a support system, not a social group. Okay.
we don't get a lot of, we don't lose a lot of members. We just don't get any new ones hardly.
Right.
I don't know why, we just don't.
Well, now that once they're opening up, the community boards we're allowed to put our flyers on community boards again, or if you have, you can print the business cards for Tops and put them on community boards, because a lot of them just want you to put business cards up, stuff like that, but you can print them off. I just got the car magnets. I did the one, the ad thing on the advertising part of tops.com, tops.org rather. It was the one postcard that's we're back. That's all it is. I didn't put any of my information on it. It's just tops.org. We're back, and you know, just got to get the name out there. But it's a lot of chapters got to realize they've been together so long, they're basically are a coffee klatch. That's it. They're not a support group anymore. They've gone from a support group to let's get together with our friends.
Right. And I like I said, we had one member that wrote a letter explaining why she was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And she really liked the personalities, and she enjoyed being around us as a group of people, but it wasn't helping her in her weight loss journey.
Right.
And she even made some recommendations. And she had done a little well at dropping some weight when she initially joined.
Right.
So then the other ladies, their excuse was this: after a little while, she stopped losing weight and she became discouraged. And they're like, well, she was just discouraged, and that's on her. You know, they're like, and now she's saying that we're a social club. Well, she's not taking accountability for her actions in her own progress. Like, she was failing herself is what they were saying. And they didn't understand her point of view.
Right.
And I said, you know, I thought about it, and I said, most of the ladies we have at chapter have been at chapter for quite some time, and they're connected, and it is social. And I said, they have no idea what other Tops chapters look like.
Right.
That are not as social. They have no idea of what some of these chapters are like. They're actually maintaining motivation,
Mm-hmm.
and spurring one another on in support.
Right.
They have no reference for that. They only know their chapter.
Right.
And
right.
It's kind of hard. I mean, I've tried to explain from my perspective how other chapters do things,
mm-hmm.
but quite often, you know, they get set in their ways and they don't want to approach it differently.
Right. I think we have a different viewpoint because we are seeing all different types of chapters as advocates. Right. We are seeing both ends of the spectrum, social clubs and hard-on Tops, you know. I'm sort of towards it's just tops. I mean, we're big enough that somebody else holds a schedule for programs. But if they, but I told them tops.org, tops fan, the magazine, it's got to be tops, no blogs. We are not medical doctors. We can't, who knows what qualifications these blogs have. And it's most likely a housewife just doing what they do and spouting their stuff, saying it works. Who knows what their qualifications are. So tops.org has done the research, putting millions of dollars in research. Why not use it?
Right.
But that's when our Pasc coordinator told us that about 3 years ago, that you had to use tops material. There was an uproar in my old chapter. It's like, well, I don't want to be told what to do. It's like, you're paying membership to tops.org. Why aren't you using the resources?
Well, I got even one better. I got verbalized from two or three different members of my chapter. Well, we're just tired of weight loss programs.
Then why are they there?
And I'm like, but we are taking off pounds sensibly group,
Right.
What do you expect me to talk about doing a program?
Yeah. Weight loss, food control, anything. I read from the magazines at some days. I mean, I use the program outline that's in the magazines. They give you an outline, seasonal outline of what they would like to see at each chapter, but hardly anybody uses it. Yeah.
Before I took back over, the other leader they went on a tear of weeks of playing games.
Wow.
It was bingo or word games or win, lose, or draw or something like that. And it's like, and I was really discouraged because I was like trying to get closer to goal. And I'm like, I really needed the focus. Personally,
yeah.
me as a member. And I was like,
Yep. Yeah. I don't see, unless they are like they had holiday bingo in the magazine. That was for eating healthy and weight loss. But just playing games that's not a support group. Now, okay, it's kind of like the game you think, okay, but let me see. It's kind of like the game, I think, telephone, which, yeah, it is, where somebody whispers something first in the first person ears, and then they get passed down the line, and the last person has to say what they heard. Most often, it isn't anything close to what they've first started. The same is true here. We all have the same goal, great chapters. Unfortunately, some of them have lost their way. And hopefully they will get back on track. Well, the pandemic has put everybody off track. So, well, most of us off track. So let's hope. Okay, what are your goals? You get directions and advice along the way and from others, but if you don't take the responsibility of your team, they will just be waiting outside in the parking lot, waiting for the door of the bus to open. We don't have one bus, but we have a whole garage full of them. Okay. Why doesn't it have all the other words? Okay. Okay, there we go. Think into the future. What do you see? I'm hoping every single chapter gets back open. We've got the energy bus a little different today because a lot of chapters are closed. Our goals, just to hang in there. What do you see in the future? Stella? That's okay. It's Monday.
I'm doing okay right now. I guess just for my chapter or myself.
Chapter. We're thinking thinking
okay.
the whole chapter.
We tend to start something, then everybody just goes away. We started a walking group at the mall, then it ended up with just me and one lady. We did exercises, everything. It ended up with just me. And I lost you somewhere there, but
I'm here.
I lost your picture. But just to get them on track and get interested in getting healthy.
Yeah. What do you see for your chapter, Rhonda?
Well, we had just redid the bylaws after the end of the year last year.
Right.
And I made the stipulation during that one included in our bylaws is that we would be going back to having executive board meetings.
Right.
Because this is true, you know, we're here, we're talking about our plan and what our future is. It's like, you can't plan if nobody's communicating.
Right.
So to come together as 4, 5 ladies that are in charge of steering this bus,
Mm-hmm.
we need to actually meet, and I said at least once a quarter,
Right.
to touch base, to find direction, to move forward.
Right.
And I'm hoping once we get to doing that and pulling ideas together, more team oriented,
Mm-hmm.
that they'll share their input
Right.
and become more involved. So
Yes.
that's number one right now is very
Right.
soon we're going to have that first quarter meeting for the year.
Oh my gosh, yes. My chapter, every single person had a loss for the quarter. Every single COPS was below goal. So, and February, we all gained weight. So somehow we pulled it out of our year. We all lost weight for the first quarter of the year. It's like, wow, we love 2021. We really do it. But I mean, we started off as 4 people. We gained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new members in 21. All but 1 are transfers, but now we need to get to the point where we are having executive meetings, because at this point I was doing everything and I can't do that anymore because my chapter visits are starting back up and I shouldn't have to do it all. So I'm trying to delegate, but no one's willing to volunteer. That is the problem. So we're going to have our executive committee meeting and set some rules.
We don't have those types of meetings either. We
Yeah, my
never
last
have.
chapter didn't either. They had it like before big events, like before ARD, before awards banquet. But the old chapter would have an actual dinner to give out the awards. To me, my thinking is, why wait? Because it'd be April, and they would be holding on to certificates that they got in February. Why wait? You know,
Yeah.
As soon as I got them from my coordinator, I figured out when everybody was going to be there, and we had them. Yeah, I mean, if you wait too long, they're going to say, "Well, I lost all this weight," and what, a lot of them, most of us aren't in it for the recognition, but we like to be recognized that yes, we did succeed.
Right.
And when, like, I was chapter queen in my old chapter, but I didn't know until I started my own chapter. And it's like, really? Yeah, you need publicly praise. We don't do the criticizing unless it's absolutely necessary. We don't do criticizing, but we praise in public, and we have to. That is part of a support group. But a lot of chapters don't do that, which I don't get that part, because it's part of the support. Okay. Right. What do we hope to accomplish? I posted things about what are your new month, new goal, and post your goal. A lot of people are saying no red on the book. So we're hoping. I'm just hoping to stay in goal, below goal. What is your goal, Rhonda?
What we have been working at, and I mean, I think it worked really well last month, is we had a number of people that hadn't for a very long time do pledges.
Mm-hmm.
They pledged to lose a certain amount of weight.
Right. SMART goals.
And what we said is, you know, in our bylaws, if you meet your pledge, then what works better for them instead of charms is to get money off your dues.
Right,
You get a discount off your dues.
right,
If you don't make your pledge, then you pay that amount.
right.
And we actually had about 5 people make pledges.
Wow.
I think 3 of us fulfilled our pledges.
Nice.
So that's good. And a couple more this month made pledges already.
Mhm.
So we are getting back to being more focused, I think.
Yes.
Being
It-
like the kind of member that's willing to say, well, gee, you know, I really do need to try. The goal is to lose weight.
Right.
And I'm pledging to do this. So because
Right.
we would have people that they just looked at you and shook their head when you said, do you want to make a pledge? You know, oh, no, that's too hard. I just can't, you know.
How are you keeping the negative off of that? Because what you're saying is free dues if you make the pledge, you got to pay if you don't make the pledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
negative. That's a fine.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think of that till you just said that.
Here's an option, and it just pops into my head. So tell me I'm crazy if I am. Basically, to make a pledge, what is it? The whole month free dues or a one day meeting free dues when they make the pledge?
They get money off. If there are cops, our dues are $3 for cops and 5
Right.
for tops.
Right.
So if you make your pledge as a tops member, you would only pay, you know, $2 for your.
Okay, so maybe to keep the stigma of negative out of it, to make a pledge, you prepay those dues, the $3 or the $5. If they make the pledge, they get it back. So there's only a positive connotation to it. What do you think about that? Prepay the dues for the month, and if they make their pledge, they get those dues back.
I don't know if that quite works because at the time that they maybe they might not pay and they might pledge.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. But I mean, if everybody agreed to, because I've got some chapters that they don't want to fundraise, so they want the fines. It's like, okay, but if you get new members in there, they're going to hear fines, and okay, they don't want to do it because it's a negative thing. It's not positive.
It's funny because I mean, we just went through that last year or year prior to, where we said you know we got rid of our little piggy bank.
I know, I saw that. I was there. I saw it before you got rid of it.
And I mean, that was understood, but I didn't even think of it in terms of the pledges.
Right.
Isn't that funny? This is the first time I thought of that being negative and kind of like a fine. This is the very first time.
Well, then you could do it as, label it as a donation.
Yeah.
Because I have other people, like if they depending on how many pounds they gain or ounces, they have to pay a fine. It's like, we don't do fines. We can do donations, but we can't do fines.
Right.
Because we don't want anything negative.
Right.
Because I mean, people will just give up. You know, why bother?
Well, I mean, and my ladies at chapter are funny because they did not understand the stigma to that.
A lot of the people that have been in there for a long time, they're used to it, so they don't think that is a negative thing.
Right.
We'll just relabel as a donation.
Yeah.
So if they don't make it, make a donation to the treasury.
Yeah, but that's kind of funny because I mean, these ladies are going to know. They're going to be like, you're just calling it something else.
Yeah. We'll just have a discussion saying, do you feel this is a negative thing? Because we're supposed to be all about positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement.
We had that discussion. we don't, like I said, they don't see it as that.
Yeah. Well, then
mean,
you're fine.
They're like, you know, perhaps if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, perhaps I deserve a negative. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. It's like some of the chapters have been around for a long, long time, and they're sort of set in their ways. So
And
it's
I
a
talked to him
slow
about
process.
the fact I read from the Making Your Chapter Great manual, and I talked to him about the fat shaming premise and all that. And I said, you know, when I went to meet with Teresa and our spa, I mean, this was right after I was telling them about this. Prior to, I said, we had this field staff meeting, and I'm telling you, this was the discussion. And I said, this needs to be done. We need to do away with the fines, the gainer fines. And I said, and then I referred to the Making Your Chapter Great manual, and I said, you know, here it is. And I said, there was even the discussion that if you had someone that was a new member that come along and they saw this gainer fine and they felt that it was fat shaming, they could sue.
Yep.
And they just looked at me like, unbelievable. It's like,
yeah, it is, because fat shaming is bullying. That is bullying, and bullying is against the law.
Right. And I mean, these ladies were that their mindset not connected to that.
Yeah, the way they grew up and the way the current generation is growing up, two different things.
Right.
Being tough love is now seen as bullying. So it's a different generation.
But I'm working with the ladies, like I have 4 cops at chapter. They don't buy into or are appreciative of much of the gestures of being honored as cops. I mean, case in point, I had 2 of them come to SRD for the very first time. They had been cops for like 3-4 years. When it was time for a circle of light or for the cops to be recognized, my coordinator said, are there any more cops in the audience that have not come forward? And I called their names out. And I said, I have 2 from my chapter, first time they've ever been here, because they'd never been to SRD. And I thought, well, you know, maybe they don't know what the process is and all this. I said, they're here. I want them acknowledged. But I mean, they didn't really want to even step forward at that.
Well,
and it was like,
yeah,
what are you doing with that? I mean, and then on the other hand, here I am when I'm getting ready to revise bylaws and talking about what does it look like? How do we want to reward our cops?
That's the biggest problem. Like in my my daughter is a newer cops, and she's like, what's the motivation? Why do I want to do contests? I'm not going to win any contests. I'm already a cops. But I'm seeing a lot more contests from the website that it's for tops and cops, which I like that, because it's like, what's my motivation to keep it off?
Right. Well, these ladies, like I said, they're not about,
right.
They started saying they don't want any more charms. They're not about having their name called out. They don't want to be, they have no real awareness or no grasp of, oh, what it's like to be chapter queen. None of that. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, for me, what does that look like when a group of ladies are sitting there that's already a cops? And I'm saying, okay, well, I'm quite possibly the next person that's going to be a cops. And I'm sitting there helping with the bylaws to organize the bylaws. And they're just looking at me like, we don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've lost the cops. A lot of the long-term cops have lost the motivation. I mean, but do you have an honor society in your area?
No.
We don't. That's
No.
the thing. We do not have them. And another area captain tried to start one and it just didn't take. So it's like, we need to have honor societies that are in other states have a Zoom meeting to have other people from other states, because a lot of states don't have honor societies and they can't get it started. Yeah.
I think Stella said that she went one time and it was too much effort for.
Right. For a
Well,
little bit.
I had to drive. Well, my husband took me. I don't drive in Columbus. Well, they went to Grove City the last time where the advocate lives. But I had a problem with one lady wanted to, I went to 2 meetings. The first one we just discussed what we would do. And the second one, it was at a library, and one, she was just dying to be secretary, and they took all of our names and our email addresses and never heard from them. And
Wow.
it was time. I mean, I thought, what was the point in doing that if you're not going to at least contact somebody about something?
Right.
But I didn't hear from them until it was time for another meeting. And I thought, well, what's the point in just going to a meeting every 3 months and doing nothing?
And basically having a
I don't know
social
what
get together.
So and then they went out to eat at a restaurant after it. It was our area. Well, it was our advocate did it. But I just, it wasn't worth my time and have my husband go in and sit there and wait on me. So
Right.
and years ago we had one tried to do locally, and I did go to that one, and she couldn't get anyone, so she finally gave up.
I mean, I have even emailed all the cops in my area to see if they'd be willing to go to other chapters and share their story. I had 1 out of like almost 100. 1. It's like pulling teeth. But okay, next slide. Okay, step 2, fuel your vision with purpose. And there's no note, so we don't need to say any of that. Okay, how will your vision benefit the growth of the individuals who make up the team? I'm asking the question. How will our vision benefit the growth of the individuals who make up the team? So we have all our, like we're doing, Rhonda, you're doing bylaws, and I need to redo our bylaws because we just have the original ones, like 2 pages that don't, it's just a starter chapter. How will our thoughts or renewing our bylaws, how will they help the individuals besides guidance? And we do need guidance. We just need to have, we can lead them to the water, but we can't make them drink the Kool-Aid.
If there's a clear mission statement, a clear focus mission statement that spells out the kind of support that is of value, there will be more awareness. Like, we've had the program before, what support looks like to different people.
Right.
And it's very obvious that different people appreciate or respond to different forms of support. Making it clear or listing various avenues to offer support. You know, like the reward award process. What does that look like? What does one get if they achieve a certain milestone or a certain goal? You know, letting people know that, look, you know, this is something that you can work towards. Because quite honestly, like you said, you know, not getting the award or the recognition that, you know, till it's way down the road time-wise. You know, that does you no good. I personally got discouraged because I was chapter division winner, and I got handed a certificate that was handed down from headquarters, from the coordinator to me as a division winner. I got handed it unsigned. Here's your certificate.
Wow. You know, the leader
didn't
sign it?
No, my leader didn't sign it. In a year when I was struggling to get back, I had plateaued, and I had broke even the year prior,
Mm-hmm.
and I had dropped a lot of weight,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a division winner. Okay. So to be handed this here,
Like it's no big deal. What is to you?
and then, like I said, that's when we came to redo the bylaws, because by the bylaws, I was not only due that certificate, but I was due gifts
Mm-hmm.
and a charm.
Right.
None of that was forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine chapters out there that have these circumstances. If it's not written out, and you know, for a person that's motivated by
Mhm.
a reward,
Mm-hmm.
then they have no recourse to say, you know, this
Mhm.
would encourage me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that part of support needs to be something that is maintained at chapter.
Right.
And
It is.
yeah.
What about you, Stella? Any thoughts?
I lost my thoughts. Well, I'm the only cops in our chapter. I'm the only cops we've ever had in our chapter. I was
Wow.
already a cops when I transferred there. We've never had another cops since I've been in there for 12 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it means more to me. I had a lady, because I called for a meeting because I thought we were doing the just group act, you know, just getting together and talking. And one lady told me, it must mean more to you than others. And I, well, yeah, it does. But they don't seem to care.
Yeah. They're just willing to just go with the flow. I've seen a lot of chapters like that. But I mean, for one example, between chapters, I mean, in my old chapter, it was in the bylaws, you know, the queen and division leader would get such, you know, crown and, all, and sash and all that stuff. I didn't get any of that. When my daughter made queen, she got a cape. I got her a crown to keep with her, because the old chapter gave us a tops crown that will stay in the chapter, but she had a picture because it has tops and the jewels. She got flowers. Her son, who is a Cub Scout, crowned her and gave her flowers. You know, that's how you reward royalty. You don't just give them a certificate, or division winners. You don't just give them a certificate. But I mean, it's not so much that, oh, I need my presence. It's like being recognized that, yes, you did a good job, and it means something to us too.
Right.
Yeah, it's being recognized. It's not so much the gifts or the crown or the cape. It's being recognized, that being acknowledged, being seen. You did
well,
it.
I kind of think as field staff, I kind of feel like it's kind of like it's kind of like the pastor that's nurturing a church, but yet they never get reached out to.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like, pardon me, but I'm a member first.
Right. Exactly. When I first became an area captain, the biggest problem was they could not separate me from my staff position to being a member of that chapter. So they would always, you know, they would always defer to me. It's like, I'm not advocate right here. I am a member here. Yeah, they basically saw me as a threat. They don't want to do anything wrong because I might tell on them. It's like, no, if I'm at a chapter meeting, I am a member of that chapter. If you want me to act as the advocate, tell me to put my advocate hat on, you know?
Right.
Otherwise, what stays in chapter stays in chapter.
But like I said, as a member, like I was handed that empty certificate. And I mean, there was a bit of that, you know, well, you're the advocate and blah, 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 blah. And it was animosity.
Yeah,
But at the same time,
exactly.
I had worked really hard for a
Right.
number of months to
Right.
drop some weight finally again.
Right.
And I don't think they quite understand just what it meant to me to
Mhm.
finally have lost some more weight.
Right. And you got 1 pound to go. Yoo-hoo! Yes. We are rooting
And
for
it's like,
you. Yeah.
And I
Eh.
correct myself, we did have a COPS when I went in, but she's been dead for several years. She was 90 before she finally quit coming, but she was a COPS. I forgot about her, but we haven't had any since then.
We did have 3. She stumbled over the holidays, but she'll get it back. She's very close. But at this point, a lot of they're giving me goals, but they'd rather be a TOPS goal than being a COPS. Because they see the stress, and they're not into the stress. They want it acknowledged, and they want they're not into being royalty or stuff like that. They're just they want you get to their goal and just not stress out about it, which I have no problems with doing that. Okay. How will our vision benefit others? We did all that. What greatness can we strive for?
well, for me, it would be actually growing the chapter. And when we do get the new members, they don't look at it as, well, this is just a social club, and I was really looking for help to lose weight.
Right. And I'm getting more and more emails. People want the help. They're reaching out, which is awesome. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that they need the help. We would like everybody to be healthy, but we're here to support them. Okay. What do we stand for? We are not a social group. We are a support group. What do you think we stand for, Stella?
What you just said, yeah, it should be.
Yeah, we are a support group. And what we need to do is ask our fellow members, how can we support them? What does support look like to them? Because what I need for support as a COPS will not be what the new member that is just starting needs for support. She needs might need hands-on. I am more just give me a phone call or text or give me a TOPS pal, and we'll converse. What is your idea of what support looks like? It's even another PowerPoint. What does support look like? But
well, for me, is back to the what do we stand for? It's a place to both give and get support,
right,
in our endeavors to move towards a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
To build and maintain good habits
that
will lead us to a healthier place in our life.
Exactly.
Stella? We've got to come to the place where we understand that the meeting time is going to be used as a safe place for people to come with both their goals and their struggles.
Right.
Right. And I have said during programs, I've told my chapter members at different chapters, sometimes, quite frankly, in order to give and get support, sometimes you got to be kind of vulnerable. Yes, and own your struggle.
Right. I had a member text me the other day. I think I'm going to gain. I don't know if I'm going to come to the chapter. It's like, dear, when you're struggling, that's when you need the group the most. That's when you need the group the most. And how can we make a difference? And we've talked everything we've talked about with this slide. We know how to make a difference. We just need to Yeah, lost a brain of thought. Lost a train of thought, not the brain of thought. Oh, but I mean, while we're talking about makes all we've been talking about, we can make a difference if we don't just talk about it, we do something about it. Okay, next. It says, write down your vision and purpose. That is our bylaws. Okay. It says, incorporate your vision and purpose into one powerful vision statement. Or I know chapters that do a vision board for the chapter, not just the individual. Do a
That's
vision board for
awesome.
the chapter. What are their goals? What is the vision goal? I would love to, I would love to do that maybe before elections, do a vision board for what we want to accomplish, for the next year. Okay, focus on your vision. Of course, there's no notes, and then share your vision. Share your vision, and that's basically, it's a give and take. If you have a vision of what you want to be in the chapter, or of what you feel support is, if you don't communicate it with your other chapter members, it's not going to happen. It's the communication. A lot of communication is broken down in the chapter, especially during COVID. Some chapters just stopped, and some members are like, where's the support group? Where's the support? It just disappeared. So if we don't speak up, it's not going to get fixed. So I mean, we just need to focus on, or Zoom. Well, we are a Zoom and we are focusing, but we need to focus on the support portion and get back into being a support group. A lot of chapters are still doing it. Well, maybe they need to refocus, or because we have a new normal. Our new normals create different needs. So, I mean, there are a lot of chapters. I have 2 members of my own chapter that will not stay at the meetings, or won't come to they'll weigh in by phone because of their new normal. They have to stay away from people. They have to quarantine. So that's a new normal we have to account for. But we need to still, even though 2 different normals in one chapter, we still have to focus on what our goal is and what our vision for our chapter is. We just don't want to shove it down their throats. We just
I
need
have
to
a
take
chapter.
every account.
I have a chapter right now that I'm trying to get to come together, because they couldn't meet at their meeting place because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then their leader, who is a full-time, she works as a nurse.
Right.
Some of the members says they haven't heard from her the whole time.
Right. I can understand that when she's a nurse.
Right. And some of the, and they're older members and she's younger. They said what it looks like, they want to get back to meetings, but what it looks like for them is changing the meeting time.
Right.
You know, they're older and they're starting to think about the fact that they would rather not drive certain times in traffic in Nashville.
Right.
And they would like to, at certain times of the year, they don't want to be out that late.
Right.
Because of light issues with their vision and stuff.
Right.
So I've got a majority of that chapter who say, we want to go back, but we want to meet at a different time.
Right.
So what it looks like is they're going to have to vote to either split the chapter and start a second chapter.
Right. Yeah.
Or
it's not hard.
No
it's not hard.
Or
Because that's what I did.
No chapter. And there's some animosity and some.
Right. Yeah, I need to get, I've got some large chapters that have lost a lot of members, whether it's due to COVID or natural deaths, or they haven't renewed. But they don't have a place to meet anymore.
Well, you know,
So.
The new normal in these circumstances is like each member's personal life has changed in this time frame.
Absolutely.
So it means different things to the chapter as a whole.
Right. I mean,
And
life has interfered big time in 2020.
right, yeah.
And we've got to acknowledge that and try to move forward. Okay. Identifying the goals your team needs to achieve to make your vision a reality. And that is what you do when you go talk. I mean, have a bylaws meeting with your executive committee. And then to me, the executive committee needs to narrow down what we need to discuss and then bring everything to a vote to the chapter. Because what we lay down, the bylaws might not work for everybody. So we need to make it reality, we need to talk the entire chapter, not just the officers, which a lot of chapters just leave it all up to the executive committee. But if I'm in a large chapter and it's just 5 people making decisions for the entire chapter, I wouldn't be happy. Would you? Especially large chapters. And I've got a lot of large chapters.
Our consideration was this when we were going over the bylaws. Like I said, we have cops who have made their status.
Right.
And I'm asking, what does it look like? What are we going to do for a member that makes cop status?
Yeah. Right.
And I had one member, a TOPS member, tell me, well, why don't we worry about that when that happens?
Wow.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm at that point, under 10 pounds to go.
Right.
So I'm like, I felt kind of funny because it's like, am I going to sit here and ask you what you think you might do for me when I become a cops?
Right.
Do you not understand the impact of what this looks like?
Yeah.
For TOPS members who are striving to get to goal, and how encouraging it might be to see this written out.
Right. Yeah. Like our decision, I mean, setting forth what rewards or awards, that's fine. But like monetary decisions, like, are we going to do contests? My chapter does not want to do contests. Because a lot of, like, we're doing the 4 weeks of My Day One, starting with My Day One. That is a 4-week program. They consider that, because there's extra credit, they consider that as the contest. They don't want to do contests because maybe 1 or 2 people out of 12 will do it. So that's a decision. Now that we're a larger chapter, do we want to go down in dues from 2 to 1? It all depends if they want to do fundraising, because $1 a week will not support getting pins, ribbons, stuff like that to acknowledge the awards. So it's like stuff like that. That would come up to vote, because the 5 people in the executive committee are not the only ones paying dues. So, but stuff like that, monetary stuff and contest stuff, we would vote on as a chapter, but we would fine tune it to what do we need to ask them? What do they need to vote on? So, I mean, it is a support group. It's not a support executive committee. I mean, that's my thought. Right. I mean, I don't want to make the decisions. 5 people make a decision. Well, there's 4 because my daughter has two positions. Because we started out small, but it's like, be a support group, do it. Everything needs to be a consensus. So that's just my thought. A lot of people don't think that way. But okay, this one says write down your goals. We're doing SMART goals next week because that is week 1 of My Day One. So we're doing SMART goals. We can do SMART goals for the chapter. Every goal can be brought down into a SMART goal. Identify the action steps necessary to achieve your goal. Again, the SMART goal steps. Write down the action steps, which is the SMART goal process, and make a copy of it and give it to each team member. Again, this page is making a SMART goal, but in a larger scale for actual chapter, not just one member. So that works. Then get on the bus. Identify who needs to be on the bus to help you implement the action steps, basically your executive committee, that will help you achieve goals and visions you and your team have set. The team part is the executive committee, and you need to bring it all to the members of the chapter. Invite them on the bus, email them an e-bus ticket, or hand deliver a printed ticket. basically invite them to participate in your chapter, invite them to participate in it, helping the chapter attain the goals. And fuel the ride with positive energy and enthusiasm. That's it. Positive energy means nothing negative, no fat shaming, no bullying, because I've seen, I mean, fat shaming is bullying, and we don't want any part of that. Any more notes here? Okay, there's no notes here. Engage and energize your team on a regular basis, filling the void with positive energy so negativity cannot breed. Stella, well, I know you're just coming back. Does your chapter, is it more of a positive, upbeat chapter, or is it more of a social group?
It's kind of both. Everybody's kind of positive, but then it also is kind of a social group too at times. So.
Well, it's time it is, because I mean, during weigh-in, I mean, there is just so much. It's like, okay, we only have 20 minutes for weigh-in. We now have 12 people. Let's hurry it along. But it's like they're catching up during weigh-in. It's like, let's keep going. It's hard. But that is our first inclination is, oh, I haven't seen them in a week. I need to catch up. Like, we'll do this before and after the meeting. We're trying. It's hard. Because that is our first inclination is I haven't seen you in so long. Let's catch up. And I know, Rhonda, you're basically, you're trying to get away from the social meeting aspect.
Well, it's really hard because there's an element of support that comes with the statement, I care about you.
Right.
And for a person to come to a meeting and talk about their life,
right.
You know, there is a social aspect of that. So there is a balance. It's
right. Yeah, it is sometimes hard to do the balance, because since we are basically still in this pandemic, we need both sides. We need the support and the social, because this might be the only actual person we're seeing other than people in our house all week. Because some people, I mean, have one person that just weighs in, otherwise she's in her house. So I mean, except for her husband, that's all she sees.
right.
Okay, incorporate practices and processes that cultivate a culture of positive energy. And the new chapter, I love the new chapter manual. And I think 2015, Barb Katie did the whole thing about no more fat shaming. And that was, and I think it was the year I started, 2015 or 18, I don't remember which. But that was so hard for chapters to do that, to get rid of the fines. And we're still trying to get rid of those or redefine those or find other ways to get money in. But some chapters, they want the fine because that motivates them. I don't see how. I mean, you know, you're going to gain weight. That would tell me, oh, I don't want to go. I don't have the money. But we need to cultivate positive energy.
Well, it's funny when you talk about the raising money aspect of it, because with our gainer fines, quite often it was a quarter for every pound or fraction of a pound you gain.
Same here.
And it's like, really? That's really not raising much money anyway.
No, it's not.
When it comes down to it.
It's absolutely not. Yeah, but negativity zaps the motivation. It really does. It says post a sign that says no energy vampires allowed. Identify the negative team members who are affected in excess of your chapter ride. So far, I don't have any. I know there's chapters out there that do have them, and we're not going to name names, but we just need to identify them and maybe do some. I wouldn't single them out unless absolutely necessary, but maybe do more programs about positive energy. There's a lot of motivation programs on the website that can help. But positive energy.
I have something to say with this one. I got
sure.
a call a couple weeks ago from one of my leaders. And she said, no, I'm not gonna name any names. She said, but
Right.
we do have a member that can be kind of difficult.
Right.
And she said, but the rest of my team
Mhm.
make up for that.
Right.
And she said, we're all in this together.
Right.
And we get through that part of
Mhm.
the aspect when this individual is being difficult like that.
Right.
So, I really understood that, look, here's a situation where there is some recognition of this by multiple members of the group.
Right.
And they're truly offering support to each other, even through
Right.
that aspect of being a part of a group.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's.
I mean, I've seen that in other chapters too, but I mean, mine would be acknowledging she has these feelings, but asking her what we could do to help her.
Mhm.
Give her more, maybe she just needs more support and she's not getting it, but she doesn't know how to ask for it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all about, as leaders or advocates or even just members, learning how to listen.
Right.
What is she actually saying? Is she saying she's really negative, but what is she actually, is she reaching out for help? Or is she just a
Right.
negative person? We just need to figure that out and see what we can do to fulfill her
Well,
support needs.
in some situations though, and I mean, and this is true in my own life, some people have problems that nobody can solve.
Right.
And they're
We can
going to
just
bring
support
that
them.
with them to the meeting.
Right. Right. Because life is still happening even though we're in a meeting.
Right. So sometimes there is no way around
Right.
that. So you just have to accept it for what it is.
Right.
And still try to show support regardless.
Right. Exactly. We can't ignore them, but we can't let their negativity affect us.
Right.
Try as hard as we can to not let it affect us. Okay. Determine, open the lines of communication. Let them know they're being negative. Like we said, determine if it's justifiable reason. Determine a course of action that will lead an individual and team success. Encourage them to get on the bus with positive energy. Give them a chance to succeed. Yeah, like we can't discount them. We still have to give them the same chances we give everybody else. If they fail to make the changes and continue to be negative, then you have no choice but to let them off the bus. And we don't want to ever have to do that unless absolutely necessary. And in my area, I've never had that happen. But a lot of negative members are just, they don't come, or people acknowledge it, but it's just them. But we need to figure out, keep the communication open. That's all we can do. We can't, basically, we can't make them happen.
There are times when that negativity will impact the whole group.
Right.
And like I said, we have had a couple times where we've had newer members quit, and they'll tell somebody in the group, look, I'm not coming back because of that person.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where it got to be the point where, there are some circumstances where they can be let off the bus or told not to come on the bus.
Yep.
I was told by my coordinator, look, you can have a membership revoked.
Yes, you can. I found that out too.
If you document the circumstances that's causing upheaval.
Right.
But I told her at that time, I said, I do not ever want to do that, because the person that's being negative still is there, and they're still coming, and they still want support.
Right. We cannot let them down.
They may not be aware of how they're coming across.
Correct. Well, I mean, like, for an example, in college, I was talking, it's like all of a sudden one of the ladies I was walking with, it's like, are you always so negative? It's like, I didn't realize I was. Maybe they don't realize it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Navigate adversity and potholes. When faced with a challenge, setback, or adversity, ask the following question. What can we learn from this challenge? What is the problem teaching us? Every problem can be a learning situation. How can we grow from this adversity? And what opportunities does this challenge present to our team? And love your passengers. Okay, ask the following questions. How can I recognize them? I like this little emoji. How can I spend valuable time with them? How can I better listen to them? But that's one thing we need to learn is listen. That is something we can learn, and not everybody is capable of it. I know I have problems with it. Since my strokes, I don't have impulse control, and it's hard. How can I serve them and their growth? How can I bring out the best in them? And it's not all on us, it's the chapter that needs to do all this. How can I energize their strengths to better themselves and the team? And have fun. Remember where it is. Okay, where is the sign? There we go. Remember that every bus trip and journey should be fun. If it's not fun, we're not doing it right. It doesn't have to be a difficult and painful ride. Ask your team regularly how that we can be more successful and have more fun in the process. Ask how we can bring more joy to the work we do. Remind yourself and your team that the goal of every journey should be to arrive at your destination with a smile on your face. It's not just about the destination, but about the team you become along the way. 10 rules for the ride of your life. You're the driver of the bus. Yeah, no one can make your journey but you. It is your journey. Desire, vision, and focus move your bus in the right direction. Fuel your ride with positive energy. Invite people on your bus and share your vision of the road ahead. Don't waste your energy on those who won't get on the bus. Yeah, because like I said, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink Kool-Aid. Post a sign that says no energy vampires allowed on the bus. Enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. Love your passengers. Drive with purpose. Have fun and enjoy the ride. And remember, you only have one ride through life, so get it all, give it all you've got, enjoy the ride. Are you on board? But let me see. There we go. That is the end. Any thoughts? I love this. I mean, this is basically, it gets you thinking, are we doing all we can? Are we being negative? And I know that I can be negative, and I try not to be. But when I get on tangents, I try not to, but but what are your thoughts?
I think
Go ahead,
sorry.
Stella. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Stella.
I'm going to watch the recording of this and take notes.
Yes. It's also,
There's a lot of good things on there.
it's also this it's on the lead. Are you a leader or web designate?
Well, I'm a temporary leader because ours quit because of health reasons until election.
So do you have access to the Leaders Corner?
Yeah, I'm a designate. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's on the Leaders Corner under PowerPoints. But yeah, I mean, I love this program. It gets us thinking again of what we should be doing, but maybe we've been lax on, or we've set to the side. Oh, we'll get to it later, like bylaws. Because I mean, our normal is terrible.
Online? Is this online?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I need to look. I need to visit this.
On Leaders Corner, so you have access to it.
Oh yeah.
On or I believe, I don't know if you can get to PowerPoint on the member section, but I members resources, but I know you can get to it through Leaders Corner.
I think for me, because I mean, it's been a couple years now
Uh-huh,
with lots of issues at chapter.
right,
I think for me, and I go back to that, you know, I'm still in quote on the bus or still in the game or whatever.
right,
And it takes a lot of energy and effort to try to sustain improvement in a chapter
right,
that are having these kinds of issues.
right. And you can't do it by yourself. That's why you
And-
need
And
to team up.
I'm a committed field staff member.
Right, same I.
And I feel there's all kinds of personal stuff that comes with it as
Right.
a member. Plus there's the whole, if I'm feeling this, I know we have members elsewhere going through
Right.
this.
Right,
And as a responsible person, I feel it's been a lot for me. I'm
Right.
carrying a lot of stress with this. There isn't a day goes by that I don't try to think about something that might help somewhere along the way.
right,
So this right here, I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm digging the past up just going through this program with you,
right,
you know, and it's like, I have to be very careful because it's like, the other part of it is I'm very passionate about tops.
right.
And there's a point where it's like, have you ever heard of something called compassion fatigue? To where you care so deeply about other people that you become fatigued because you're constantly trying to figure out what's going to help, what's going to help.
Yes.
And you hear all these complaints come in, and I get them from chapter leaders, and I get them from members, and it's just like I hear it, and sometimes it's a lot to hear and a lot to try to understand, and I try to be a problem solver, and it can wear you down. You can be fatigued, you
Yep.
know? And I keep my thing is, you know, I think we should both give and get support.
Right.
What does that look like? How do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm constantly there. And the other thing I was thinking about during this whole time is like, you know, I'm a person of faith and belief, and the virtue, the fruit of the spirit, that is patience.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like I don't have enough patience. And they often say, you know, be careful what you ask for, because if you pray to learn that attribute, have that gift of the spirit, he may just give it to you and grow you in it.
Yeah.
And I think I've been like, maybe this whole thing is all about growing my patience,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had to put a lot of effort and energy and try to be patient with other people.
Yeah.
And try to even find my own patience with myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, you got to be patient and try to understand like the negativity that might come to a chapter.
Yep.
Through this person or this group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be patient and understand that this may be something that is coming through because of their life circumstances.
Right. Yeah. And our
like,
new normal
I say
is hard to adjust.
This is wow. This, you know, this program is really.
It makes you think, really makes you think.
Right. It's.
Yeah.
This is the kind of program that if we had like field staff IRD workshop would probably be something that multiple
Right.
field staff need to.
Right. The
Okay.
whatever one of the retreat directors did it actually at the retreats with the field staff. But yeah, it makes you think, am I doing all I can? Should I mean, am I micromanaging too much that it's to the detriment of the chapter or stuff like that? But otherwise, we need to just new month, new goals, just take a breath and relax and don't stress yourself out. Be positive. That is
The other thing
sometimes
is,
the hardest
and,
part.
and this is something that I caught myself realizing, Rhonda, TOPS doesn't mean the same thing to all people.
No, it doesn't.
They're not looking for the same thing that you're looking for.
Right.
They're not maybe necessarily as into the organizational side of it as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Try to understand from their perspective what they're trying to get, what they, don't be so rigid in what you think it ought to look like.
Right.
Because it's what you want it to look like doesn't mean that it's going to service them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we have lots to think about. We have a lot to think about. So, okay. Any more thoughts, Stella?
Nope,
Yeah,
that's
we're
it.
like going an hour and 20 minutes right here. Okay. I don't have my Don't Quit pledge with me. So we'll do, you take my hand, the helping hand pledge. You take my hand and I'll take yours, and we'll start out today. For helping hand is what we need to guide us along the way. The way to goal is a lonely road. We need someone to care. Reach out, my friend, take my hand, and then we're almost there. So everybody have a great week. Hopefully I'll see both of you on Wednesday, if possible. I have no idea what I'm going to do. No, Terry Ann has it. I got to remember, Terry Ann's going to do the program. I'll have the reminder. But you guys have a great week. Talk to you later.
Bye.